I sat behind Drew, who was a franchise quarterback, right? In my second year, it's training camp. And we had a very good quarterback coach named Dick Rabine. And God rest his soul, unfortunately, he passed away in training camp and of a heart attack. And it was a very difficult loss for our team. And the way that we found a way to continue on that season is Bill Belichick became more of a quarterback coach than we ever imagined him being a quarterback coach. He was obviously a head coach, very involved in defensive game planning.
The NFL practically froze mid-scroll when Tom Brady went full detective and called out Cleveland for allegedly sabotaging Shedeur Sanders. Yep, you heard that right. Brady, the guy who treats footballs like Fabergé ornaments, just dropped a truth grenade that has fans wondering if the Browns run a franchise or a covert ops unit. Grab your snacks, because if Brady's tossing around the word sabotage, then something wild is bubbling in Cleveland. And it's not just lousy play design.
The local Cleveland media keep going relentless on Shedeur. He entitled, distracted, developing slow, can't learn the playbook, not getting practice reps with the scout team, not getting practice reps at all. But what if I told you? Then don't none of that got to do nothing with it. This goes deeper than people realize. If y'all ain't seen the Tom Brady came out on Colin Cowherd, now this is pertaining to the Browns saying they developing quarterback.
The league wasn't braced for this one. Tom Brady, the football monk of perfection, suddenly became the NFL's unofficial accountability cop and aimed his laser attention straight at Cleveland. The same Cleveland that stays in headlines even when trying to stay quiet. And this time, it wasn't about a loss, a rebuild, or a quarterback merry-go-round.
Everybody knows how to develop a quarterback. You're assuming that you're going into a program. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback or calling an offense. So are you saying, just like we rank quarterbacks 1 to 32, do you rank offensive coordinators 1 to 32? Do you rank quarterback coaches 1 to 32? Well, what if you have the 32nd ranked coordinator in someone's mind, or the 32nd ranked quarterback coach? How is he getting a level of development that the guy who's first is getting?
Nope. This was something spicier. Brady accused them of undermining Shedeur Sanders, and the league collectively choked on its Gatorade. You'd think Tom Brady, the guy who could lecture a palm tree on discipline, would be in retirement sipping kale blends and pretending yacht life is exciting.
But I'm going to answer this question by saying Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail. That's right, I'm going to say it. Okay. Here we are on national television, right? There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart. And then suddenly you throw him into the start lineup, and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all. Think about that. So you just gonna throw him to the wolves like that, huh? If he had first team snaps in practice, I don't say that.
But even retirement can't muzzle a man who spots nonsense from a mile away. And what he saw in Cleveland wasn't simple incompetence. It was a full-blown organizational circus masquerading as football structure. Brady says the NFL runs on a strange double standard. Players get judged like reality show contestants every second.
Let's give them a chance. Let's give them a chance with the play calling. You know you have an offensive line that isn't playing that well. So what do? Why not just play the short game so he can get the ball out of his hands very fast to run a competent goddamn offense? Outside of that, Shedeur has to be better in understanding that the offensive line that you're working with right now is not adequate. Why not allow the players that are competing for a job, in this instance, Shedeur Sanders, to finish off the 2-minute drill?
Every throw, every step, every misread gets audited like national security. But the coaches? Oh, they get treated like untouchable sorcerers. They can drag an offense into a sinkhole and still get labeled geniuses. Brady wasn't buying it. He basically said what everyone's been too afraid to say. Some coaches wouldn't recognize player development if it slapped them with a laminated playbook. And that's where Shedeur Sanders enters. The kid's been dissected more than a lab frog, while the coaches stroll off untouched. Cleveland managed to turn his intro to the NFL into something that looked less like growth and more like a planned derailment. Imagine being thrown into a system where coaches treat development like folklore, then question your readiness. It's like being told to bake a cake with no flour, and then getting yelled at for serving air. That's Shedeur's world right now, and Brady refused to let it slide. Cleveland staff walks around like none of it's their doing. They evaluate, they grade, they critique. But ask who actually worked with Shedeur, and you hear crickets. Not a single coach steps up, claiming they invested time in the guy.
It's either the Browns are actually developing Shedeur, which I told y'all before too. They actions say otherwise. But Tom Brady gonna break it down in how he got developed and early on in his career, eventually lead him to 7 Super Bowls. So if quarterback's not getting developed, anything similar to this?
Apparently, Cleveland's idea of development is handing a player a helmet and some good luck wishes. Then when things blow up, they shrug and say, "See, he's not ready." Brady saw through the act instantly. He knows talent, and he knows when a team's atmosphere is toxic. The same man who turned unknown receivers into legends can spot when coaches are basically sleepwalking through development. To him, Cleveland's issue isn't that Shedeur wasn't ready, it's that they never tried to make him ready. And that's where things get awkward, because when Brady talks, people listen, especially the ones he just torched. The Browns tried spinning it, of course. The usual PR fluff about evaluations, competition, and development. But those words feel empty when your plan looks more like organized neglect. Funny enough, coaches love shouting about accountability, right up until they're the ones who need to be held accountable. Brady compared NFL coaching culture to a corporate office, where interns get fired for typos while managers get promoted for chaos. It's a mess. And Shedeur is just the latest victim.
I always had this theory that quarterbacking should be easier now. You have personal coaching, 7-on-7 camps. Guys like you and Drew Bledsoe and Troy Aikman have told me, I literally had 8 high school games a year. I had 40 starts, including high school. Well, guys now have 10,000 snaps by the time they're 14 years old. So I've always said as a sports commentator, I used to give guys 3 years. My argument now is Thanksgiving year 2, the GM, the coach, the coordinator need to go upstairs in a room privately, raise their hands, yes or no. And I don't care what.
Cleveland's coaching inconsistency has been an open secret for years. One guy says they're developing a quarterback. Another says they're evaluating. Another forgets his name entirely. Meetings feel like each coach got a different memo, and none involve actually helping the player. Brady's point landed because everyone already knew it. And before the dust could settle, in storms Stephen A. Smith, the man who turns outrage into Olympic sport. The moment Brady spoke, Stephen A. didn't just agree, he detonated. He's been warning for months that Shedeur's situation smelled like sabotage. That's not opportunity, that's entrapment. It's like tossing someone keys in a hurricane and saying, "Go impress us." You can't build rhythm, timing, or confidence when you're practicing with guys fighting for practice squad jobs.
Why is the third quarterback getting interviewed? It got nothing to do with the game. Okay, it's all for media clicks. And, he's a heck of a personality, but the personality can't come out until you do something on the field. And, it's a big week for Dylan Gabriel and a big week for the Browns. Making that transition for him even to be available to the press. I don't know why he's doing it.
You tell me, you know how that works. Is that the front office? Is that the comms team? Who's putting him out? So we're saying it's not really on him. We have to protect him. He's a young player.
Yep.
Why are we making him available?
Exactly. To me, there's no sense to have him available.
Then Louis Riddick jumped in, which meant things were about to get blunt and uncomfortable. He didn't sugarcoat a thing. He agreed Shedeur has raw potential, but but tore Cleveland's so-called plan to pieces. According to Riddick, there were no reps, no structure, no intent. Translation, the whole operation was a joke. He said what fans already suspected. This wasn't development, it was delay. Riddick pushed further. He highlighted that other young quarterbacks get steady reps, consistent coaching, and patience. Shedeur? He's left trying to decode a playbook that feels like a puzzle. You can't perform when you're the only one who doesn't know the offense's rhythm. Every snap becomes a high-pressure audition, not a learning moment. The silence from leadership said everything. If nobody in the building advocates for you, you're basically an orphan in the organization. No guidance, no support, no accountability. That's how careers die. Then came the final twist, the part that made this feel like a football soap opera.
Call. He makes that call. Why? Because I want the last thing people to see is the mistakes and the sacks that happen and not give him a chance to redeem himself. Because I think probably what would have happened, okay, we can't have Shedeur come in here and finish this 2-minute drive and go down and get a touchdown. We don't want that. And in chat, for those of you who are listening and watching, I'm not making any excuses for him. He played bad. But I can tell you why he played bad. I mean, if you know the game of football and understand the game of football, understand that those that are in there with him during that time, I'm not going to be on the team.
Jimmy Haslam, the team owner, casually admitted he had no idea Shedeur was even signed. Zero clue. He claimed the coaches handled it. How does an NFL owner not know about his own quarterback acquisition? That's not leadership. That's negligence in a blazer. Suddenly, Brady's comments made total sense. How can a player thrive if the people in charge don't even know what's happening? Haslam's confession sounded like someone saying, "Oh, we adopted a kid? Nice. Hope he's okay." That's not how you run a franchise. That's how you engineer chaos. And if you think Stephen A. was fired up before, wait until he heard that. He went nuclear. He said the quiet part out loud. Haslam's "I didn't know" wasn't an accident. It was a shield, a way to dodge blame while pretending innocence. Just like that, another young quarterback narrative gets twisted before it even starts. Brady's rant suddenly looked more like a revelation. He wasn't defending only Shedeur. He was defending every young quarterback swallowed by broken systems.
I've heard ex-players talk about Shedeur. I've heard ex-NFL coaches. I've heard media members, meaning like beat reporters. I've heard fans talk about Shedeur. And it's funny, I was on with my buddy Bill Ryder today, and I declared myself as Switzerland. And he's like, well, it sounds like you're more... And like maybe, I can't remember what he said, but basically they're more positive about Shedeur than not. And I was like, well, I think some of my positivity is I look at the kid and I go, skill set wise, I think he has what it takes to be anywhere from the 13th best starting quarterback in the NFL.
The league is crowded with coaches recycling the same excuses, preaching evaluation while never putting players in position to grow. Shedeur is now the poster child for how flawed that model is. And the irony? Brady was once in Shedeur's shoes, overlooked, doubted, barely getting reps. The difference is, he had Belichick, a coach who, quirks included, actually believed in development. Without that, maybe the world never sees the GOAT. That's why Brady's words sting. He's living proof that development matters. And he knows exactly when a player is being robbed of it. A world where players take the blame and coaches hide behind buzzwords. He called out the absurdity of letting underqualified coaches decide who deserves opportunity. It feels less like a meritocracy and more like an ego contest with headsets.
Now he's got to put in the work. He's got to adapt to the NFL. He's got to adapt to not being coached by his dad. But physically, when we talk about physical talent, the concerns I have about Dillon Gabriel aren't there with Shedeur. Now, I would not have taken him with a number 2 pick under any circumstances. I might have thought about it at 33 or 35. I definitely would have thought about it at 92 over Dillon Gabriel. But the truth is, I don't feel beholden to either of these quarterbacks. We should treat them like scratch-off lottery tickets until proven otherwise. But I'm watching the discourse fall out with Shedeur Sanders. And the latest one's pantomiming, but certainly the one before this was him saying that he feels like he could do better than a lot of the starting quarterback stuff you see around the NFL, and that he's confident he'll be ready to go when his numbers.
And here's the kicker. Cleveland's coaches thought they could quietly bury Shedeur on the depth chart without anyone noticing, as if nobody tracks every snap, rep, and rotation. Then Brady spoke, and suddenly their whole plan looked more like a cover-up. It's poetic, really. Brady, the man who thrived in structure, calling out a system that refuses to build it. He's like the retired professor returning to campus and realizing they're still teaching the same outdated nonsense he fought years ago. Except now, the stakes are millions, and one young quarterback's career. And Shedeur isn't some random rookie. The kid has pedigree, talent, confidence. He's not just playing, he's competing. Meanwhile, Cleveland staff will likely survive this untouched. They'll hold pressers, talk about growth, throw around cliches about learning curves.
She get thrown in there with the Wolves, because the real Wolves come during the season. Pittsburgh is coming. Baltimore is coming. The real Wolves is coming. Now, I am praying to God that Shedeur gets an opportunity to show what he can really do. And I think that would be probably the best thing for him. But knowing the Cleveland Browns, they dumbass gonna trade him.
Meanwhile, Shedeur will be left rebuilding his confidence, while the same coaches keep collecting paychecks. Accountability? Nowhere to be found. Brady's message sliced through the noise. If players are judged like pros, then coaches should be judged the same way. Don't praise them for wearing team gear. Judge them on how well they prepare their players. QB success is as much environment as it is skill. The ripple effects of Brady's comments are already showing. Analysts, fans, even former players are calling out the hypocrisy. How do players get benched for one bad game, but coaches can ruin careers and still get extensions? It's absurd, and Brady put a spotlight on it. When Tom Brady speaks, it's not gossip, it's a warning shot. He said what players whisper in private. Coaching is the NFL's biggest unmeasured variable. You can have all the talent in the world, but if your staff doesn't believe in you, you're sunk before your first snap.
And that's what you asked for. You know, that's what you asked for within the game. If I could go back and do anything, I mean, it's always everything in life if you had that chance, but we don't have the luxury to travel back in time. As a kid, I want to go back and do things differently. So overall, of course, you know, you wish you can, but in the battle of the moment, in the heat of the battle, you know, you want to be that alpha, you want to be that dog, you want to be out there in that final 2-minute drive. So, you know, of course, small things, of course, frustrate, but that's what happens, you know, when you want a player to be able to.
And honestly, without Brady saying something, this might have faded into off-season noise. But now, everyone's watching. Every decision Cleveland makes with Shedeur is under the microscope. Every rep, every quote, every charting. Cleveland is officially on trial. Because when the GOAT calls you out, you don't shrug it off. The poetry of it all is almost wild. It's a league that still hasn't learned to protect its future. A system where politics outweigh progress, where loyalty beats logic. Maybe it's time the NFL stops pretending this is just competition. Maybe it's time to admit the real game sometimes happens behind closed doors, long before kickoff. And until that changes, Brady's words will echo through every locker room. If coaches can't build their players, maybe it's time to rebuild the coaches. Thanks for watching BlitzVision, your spot for the real NFL news and the stories they don't want you to hear. If you enjoyed the breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next update. See you in the next one.